People think on a GLP-1 you can never eat out again, but I still go to restaurants all the time. I just do it differently now, and today I'm sharing what helps me stay on track. I researched the best strategies to eat out on GLP-1 medications, and surprisingly, I already do most of these. Hi, welcome back, or welcome back if you're new. My name is Lynn. I am 56 years old. I'm a wife and mother of an 18-year-old and 16-year-old. I've been on Zepbound 2.5 milligrams, the starting dose, in injection pen since August 4th, 2025, so a little over 10 months. And I've lost over 75 pounds. I am not a doctor, and this is just my experience. Why do restaurants feel different after you start a GLP-1? Portions feel huge. Before a GLP-1, I would get my meal and be like, oh, this is a lot of food. But guess what? I would finish it every time. But now, even if I get a regular meal and it's too much, I can take it home or share it with my family. Next, I get full faster. Before, even if I felt kind of full, I still would keep eating. There was no signal between my brain and my stomach, or my stomach and my brain. It wouldn't tell my brain, hey, stop, I'm full. And now it does. Greasy foods may not sit well with a GLP-1. Before I started my GLP-1, my doctor gave me some great advice. Avoid greasy and fatty foods the first 3 weeks of starting Zepbound. And I paid attention to her and I listened and I did great. But a lot of fried greasy foods could cause you some stomach upset or irritation. We talked about the portions being so huge. Well, sometimes you can get just an appetizer or, salad, or get a salad with a side of chicken, and you could chop that up and put it on the salad, and then it's like a chicken salad, but it's smaller. You don't have to get one of these huge ones that they have where you won't be able to eat it all. I did do some research and I found an article. It's from a blog of myfitnesspal.com, Eating Out on GLP-1. The article talked about how people on GLP-1s tended to be focusing on protein, fiber, and portion control when eating out, which honestly makes a lot of sense in my own experience too. I'll cite the article down in my description. Also, according to the article, GLP-1s slow digestion and increase fullness. Restaurant meals are often oversized and calorie dense, and protein and fiber help with fullness and muscle maintenance. What I do before going to a restaurant. Now this is for a restaurant that I may not know, not one of our regulars that we have usually every day when we're at home. If I go to one that I don't know or I'm not familiar with, or when we're on vacation, I check out the menu ahead of time if they have one online. It's very easy to look it up, and I just, glance at it. I'm not like studying it or anything, but I look to see if there's a lot of protein meals, if I can get a side of chicken, or if it's a chicken sandwich, I can get that and maybe a side of cottage cheese or fruit. So you can usually find something and adapt it, substitute, do whatever you can to make it more healthy for you. I also focus on the protein, like I said, and get a chicken meal, or if I have like a steak or a hamburger there. If I know that it's a small, like thin burger, like, I don't know if they call it those smash burgers. I haven't had many of those. But instead of like a thin, super thin patty, I might get 2 or 3 because that'll up the protein. And then on the bun, and maybe I'll have some of the bun, but then I usually like just have half of the bun with the burger, and then I get rid of the bun and eat the rest, just the burger, with my fork and knife and dip in a little ketchup. Also, when you know ahead of time what you're eating at a restaurant you're not familiar with, then it doesn't seem as daunting and, as much pressure. Like when you're sitting there looking at the menu, if you didn't look at it first, there might be a lot of stuff on there and hard to pick out things, and maybe everybody else is ready to order and they'll get to you and, the server will be like, what would you like? And if you haven't prepared and found something, you might just like grab anything and something that's not as healthy or protein forward as you would like. Now here is the good part. This is what I order when I'm out. Here we go. This is from Popeyes. This is just a chicken breast with no skin. This is what I have at home sometimes when I have to eat at home. I'll go to Popeyes, get a chicken breast through the drive-thru, bring it home, take the skin off, and then either have it straight, like with a fork, and just pick at it and eat it, or I will make slices of the chicken and put it on white bread and Miracle Whip and have it as a sandwich. Next, we have a couple breakfast places, and here's multiple pictures. There's 4 different meals that I usually get. A ham omelet with a side of cantaloupe, and that's when the cantaloupe is in season. Next is a ham omelet with cottage cheese, and I usually just get ham. I can have ham and cheese, but I just like the flavor better with just ham and the egg. Then we have scrambled eggs and a side of ham. And these I get a lot because I just say, could I have just one scrambled egg and then a side of ham? And that way I can, eat them together if I want in the same, bite, or just have them separately. And the last one is grilled ham and cheese. It's like a grilled cheese with ham and cottage cheese. So I like that too when I have a, taste for like a sandwichy type thing. Next we have Longhorn Steakhouse. Now once in a while I get just the appetizer chicken wings for my meal. A filet with a side of rice and a baked potato with just butter. And I only eat about half the potato and only like a few forkfuls of the rice. But I eat all my steak usually all the time. Next we have a Moretti's. It's an Italian restaurant. It's very tasty, is chicken parmesan. And yes, it's breaded, but it's only lightly breaded. And here's a picture of it. And this has melted mozzarella cheese on top, but it also has marinara under the cheese. And recently I just started ordering it, and I don't have a picture of it without the marinara, but I order it without the marinara and have it just on the side dipping, because I don't really like a lot of marinara where it's like really tomatoey and there's chunks of tomatoes. Like I have said in previous videos, I'm very picky, and so I like just the chicken and the cheese, and then if I want a little bit of sauce I can dip it ever so gently. And this is just the chicken sandwich, okay? So I get it without the bread, but the meat, the piece is like this huge. So I usually have to cut it, and I do maybe 50 or 60% at the dinner, and then I take the rest home and have it either for a lunch if I know I'm going to be at home instead of the Popeyes chicken, or my daughter will finish it as a leftover. We usually go to Panera once a week for lunch, and so my go-to is chicken noodle soup, a cup of chicken noodle soup. It's a take two with a smokehouse barbecue sandwich. But I get it without the onions because, I don't like onions. So it's just the sourdough bread, chicken, barbecue sauce, and the cheese. And it's just a half sandwich. So it's lower in calories with the chicken noodle soup too. And then the other piece of the lunch is chips. And I give those to my husband or my son. So I don't eat those at all. And it's very filling, and I usually don't even finish the soup. I have the chicken out of there and the carrots, and then I give the rest to my husband. To Olive Garden, that's our Wednesday restaurant. We usually have set restaurants for the week, so we know like where we're going and when we're going. And Olive Garden is one of my favorites. I allow myself one breadstick, and then I order off of the menu 2 plain chicken breasts. And they come in 2 different bowls, and they usually slice them. And then I have the server add Parmesan cheese on top. So a bunch of Parmesan cheese. Then I order a little ramekin of Alfredo sauce just to dip ever so slightly in there. And it gives it such a great taste. And I wanted to show you, they have a special part of their new menu is a lighter fare or lighter menu. And they're doing smaller portions too. So that's pretty cool that restaurants are adapting to, higher protein or smaller portion meals for us GLP-1 people. Next we have Red Lobster, and I usually order a filet with orzo there, and I allow myself 1 biscuit because those biscuits are so good. Next is Chinese food. Now I'm very picky, as we know, so I order steamed white rice and beef in gravy. It's just plain beef in gravy sauce, and I put the beef over a little bit of rice. I have much more of the beef than I do the rice, which used to be the other way around. And I used to douse my food with soy sauce. Now I use just a little bit of the low sodium soy sauce, and so it's okay. And otherwise, that's just the way I eat it. Here's Buffalo Wild Wings. I was getting the 3 chicken tenders, original chicken tenders, and I would get also a crispy chicken sandwich. But recently also, I changed and have been getting 6 bone-in wings with just a side of mild sauce. So I take my knife and just dip it into the mild sauce and put a little bit on the chicken so it's not like slathered in there. Because I don't think my stomach could handle so much, hot sauce, mild sauce. But also it's just a little bit for a taste. So, and it's been filling me up. Only 6 wings. Who knew? This is Texas Roadhouse. I get a filet there, and I actually you get 2 sides. So I get 2 sides of mac and cheese for my son. So he gets his own meal, kid's meal, and then I give him my 2 sides of mac and cheese, so he gets more mac and cheese. Sometimes I also get a salad there as one of my sides, but I get just shredded iceberg lettuce with a side of Thousand Island and 1 egg on top. And that's all I like in my salad. And I only like iceberg. So in the fancy restaurants where there's like romaine and the whatever it's called, arugula and purple lettuce, and I won't eat any of that leafy stuff. So I only like iceberg. And I know it's not as healthy, but that's what I got. And then, but it does help with, keeping me regular. So I'll eat a salad maybe once or twice a week. Here's Red Robin. I always get the same thing, just a plain burger and dip a little bit into ketchup. I usually eat half the burger with the bun and then get rid of the bun and eat the rest, just the burger. Maybe 4 or 5 fries, and that's all at Red Robin. Outback, that's a great place and one of our favorites. I have the potato soup with no toppings, and I eat just like half of the bowl or half of the cup, and then I give the rest to my son or my husband. And then I get the filet with a half a baked potato with butter only. Chili's, here's a video. This was just actually tonight. I'm filming this on I'm filming this on Saturday night. We went to Chili's, and this is my cup of soup, but this is where I stopped. So I only had half a cup of potato soup with no topping, and then my husband finished the rest. And I had the steak, it's sirloin, I believe, sirloin steak with Spanish rice. That was my dinner at Chili's. In one of my day in the lives, we go to this pizza place that has all different types of food, but it has a buffet, a lunch buffet every day, Monday through Friday. So we go there at least once a week, if not twice. So there I get fried chicken thighs or a fried chicken breast and take off the skin. And then here's a picture. I get 2 tacos, but I fill them up with meat and just cheese. So it's not like Taco Bell when they give you just like little row of meat. I put a lot of meat in it. And then also barbecue chicken thighs, and I love those. I take off the skin, but I dip the sauce with the chicken. So I just had that on Thursday, barbecue chicken. So those were all the pictures of everything I eat when I'm out. Here's what helps me eat out on GLP-1s. Protein first, smaller portions. Don't wait until you're starving. If there's too much food, I box it first so I could take it home. I eat slowly. That helps in digestion and, the hunger cues and when you're full. Listen to those fullness cues. Choose foods that sit well and not a lot of fried food or fatty foods and sugar and stuff like that. And don't feel pressured to finish everything. You're not a part of the clean plate club anymore. One thing the article mentioned that stood out to me was that it could be awkward now when you eat around family and friends while you're on a GLP-1. I think a lot of us on GLP-1s can understand how that feels. Some people comment, "Oh, you barely ate anything," or "You should treat yourself. Have a dessert." You need to learn not to feel guilty, even if you do have a bite of a dessert, or if you want to splurge or have a drink. Focus on your goals and don't worry about what other people think. Eating out on a GLP-1 doesn't mean giving up restaurants or eating out or never enjoying food again. For me, it's been about balance, portion control, and making my body feel good. The journey is yours, and you don't have to eat like everyone else. What restaurant has been easy for you while you're on a GLP-1? Chipotle or Chick-fil-A or one of the other ones like Starbucks for the profis and the protein drinks? Tell me in the comments below what you've ordered or gotten at these restaurants, or if you try to substitute or change the menu items and stuff to get what you want that will fit into your eating goals. I'll see you on Wednesday for my weekly update video. Thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.